Hey there everybody. In today's video I'll be going over how to remove your intake manifold so you're able to install your new intake manifold gasket that attaches to your block. I haven't seen many videos online for this removal process, but there's obviously different videos for certain parts like the throttle body removal, this part. I want to try something else and see if there's an easier way to do this. So this video is fully based off me randomly taking off bolts and figuring out the best way to replace this gasket. Hope you guys enjoy the process. I'll document as much as I can and I'm getting right into it. Alright, so the way I did it definitely works, but I don't want to get too far into it so you guys can actually freaking understand what's going on here. I'm gonna try to put this back where it belongs, or as much as I can. But anyways, unplug all your sensors. You have 3 on the throttle body. 1, 2. I didn't unplug this one because when I was doing my intake exhaust manifold, I freaking broke this plastic piece, so it's just 4 wires. So I basically just it doesn't matter. Just take off this sensor and the one behind, and then also here's the sensor, the one that connects here. Also unplug it from the actual bracket that holds, so it's fully loose. You do have a coolant line you need to detach next to the throttle body right here. Detach that one. Over on this side you have another coolant hose to detach. Detach this hose on top here. Detach the other hose from the top. You can completely take this hose off that's on top of your valve cover and just pull it off, put it somewhere to the side. You have a sensor here to unplug, right here. Let's see what else. I'll also remove the bolt holding the dipstick so it's loose. It's a 12. Everything basically I used was a 12 millimeter socket, 3/8, and a small extension. That's all I used so far. From here, you can use a screwdriver to take off this line that goes in here from the brake drum. The line just connects there. I added one of these covers, and then you have this guy right here, this little black looking thing. Another hose came from it from the bottom. There's an arrow that points down. Just take off that hose. If I can find, yeah, the hose is right here. That's what I disconnected from this little black box thing. And then this should be completely loose. You're just gonna have to dangle it around this metal bracket. So this part is being held like this. So you just pull it off. And then from the back side, there's this one right here, holding this part right here, squeezed in. It's basically shoved in there. So just pull it out, make sure this line is free completely. And to actually remove the intake manifold body, the first part of it, you'll have a 12 mil holding here, 12 mil nut, 12 bolt, 12 bolt, another bolt, another bolt, another bolt, and then one nut all the way in the back, basically across there. And you should only be left with this much bolts taken off so far, which is basically only from your throttle body. So it's not much to take off. I'm right here right now. I'm gonna see what I need to pull off to make this easier, but yeah, we'll get to the next part. This is super easy actually. I probably could have figured it out right away. Anyways, right where that brake drum, or the, I don't know, this part anyways, there's this little hose that connects to here. I was able to use a screwdriver. I did kind of crack the pipe, but I believe it's gonna be fine. Is this one right here. All I did was just pry the screwdriver in there, just kept moving it a little bit. This came off. And then from the bottom here, I have whatever this is. There's another small nibble like that. I did the same thing. Put the screwdriver to it. I was able to slide it off. And then there's one more, which is this hose. And I did the same thing. I was able to just put the screwdriver, push right off. But I'm gonna have to figure that out. Oh wow. Oh yeah, it came right here. There you go. It came off right there, this little part. And that's basically it right there. Wow. And now I'll just figure out how to take the main intake so we can replace that gasket right there in between the block and the actual intake manifold part. get it nicely done and replaced. I decided to just remove the sensor so I could just put this whole entire system away. But this is what I'm talking about my wires being exposed. So this plastic is still here, but the plastic that held these wires basically broke. But to prepare myself for any weather situation, it's best to just remove it fully, store it somewhere while I do this and figure it out. And if any weather conditions happen, I can close the hood. It should be all fine. But I'll continue from here. I'll start unscrewing it, everything, or whatever I can find that makes sense. And I'll let you guys know the next steps. Alright, before I get way too far in the process, the next thing y'all should do is gasket. It's basically the same situation where you have one on top, 1, 2, 3 on the bottom, and one in the corner over there. Over there basically. It was basically the same exact setup from here. So da 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 and da. And after you get those off, what's next is this bracket that supports the actual manifold. So from the bottom you have a 12, the top you have a 12 right there, and then you have a 14 basically just supporting it. I don't know how, but it connects to another part, and it's right over here. This is the part of the bracket that the 14 connects to. And then down there, you can just look down the bracket basically. You'll find the 12 millimeter that holds it down there. It's all oily there, because that's why I'm doing my intake manifold change. But as you can see on the camera right there, in the middle of the screen right there is where you will take off that 12 mil. And then from the top, it's right here, I believe. This is where it holds it. Actually, no, it does not. It holds it right there, right under this grounding point. It holds it right under there. So after you take it off, this still doesn't feel loose. Really hard to move. So I'm gonna figure out what else I need to pull off. All right, so it seems like there's 3 more holding on the bottom, like the very, very bottom of the actual intake manifold. I was able to get one of them off, it was basically just a nut. It was on the fifth intake port, straight down all the way to the block. The lighting is very bad from here, but on the 5th port, you're supposed to take one off, which I did with some extensions. And then port 3 and 4, I cannot get from the top, but I was able to see them from the bottom. As you can see, let me zoom in and get them in the frame. Here's the 4th intake port. So this is like the very, very bottom of the actual manifold. And here's the 3rd intake port right there. Little bolt holding through. And the 4th one is basically impossible to take out from the top because of, if I can get on the view, because of this part where the bracket was holding the support. It's in the way to get it. So I'm gonna try to take them both off from the bottom. If they're both loose, we should be good. And that's basically all for the intake manifold removal, hopefully. All right, so after unscrewing those 2 bolts from the bottom and the one that's closer to the, I believe, the 2nd bank, the gasket finally slide. There should be just enough room for it to slide out. This is the old one. Looks exactly the same like my new one. It looks the same. Just be careful when you take it out. You might cut yourself. What I did to take it out, because it was so hard, I was able to push with the screwdriver. I put the pick in and I slowly went, and then I just pulled it out like that. So there is one stud actually only placed here, which is right over there. So 1 stud, 2 bolts holding the very bottom, and that's basically it. So I guess I'll just make it, I'll show you so it's easier. If I could turn on the flash here. Okay. So the only things you need to remove is the nut right there in the corner. You have that stud over there. Well, I guess it's a bolt. Bolt comes out there. The bolt comes right there. And then right under that bolt, way down there, right down there is the 2 in the 3 and 4, the very bottom ones. And then there's one on top. Oh wow, and there's one in the middle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So there's 4 in the 3 and 4 section.
Here's the other one. And then the stud that, the stud that's there has a nut on it. That's one of your also very low ones. And then all the way in that corner back there. And that's it. And this thing should actually be free. So I finally figured it out. And then you will have one more line connected. I couldn't take it off. It was a 10 millimeter. It was part of the fuel line. So if you can't take it off, it doesn't really need to be taken off. But that's basically it. I'm gonna spray everything with brake clean, make sure there's no rocks, put the new gasket in, and I'm slowly gonna start assembling it back. So hope you guys enjoy the video of how to remove the intake manifold, and I hope I was able to fully explain the steps. And hopefully it works out for you guys. So, and to count in total, you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you'll need to remove 10 bolts and studs combined to actually remove this intake manifold. So as long as you count to 10, it should get loose. Well, excluding this bracket, which I don't think it counts. But the actual manifold that's connected to the block, there's 10 holding it. So good luck to you guys, and hopefully it works out for y'all. Oh, and I also forgot to mention, I probably should have just looked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Probably should have just looked at this and automatically done that. So I literally wasted my time doing research. But yeah, obviously the gasket shows 10 clearly. Duh. But anyways, I took every single one of these bolts from the top. I don't know if I probably did mention I took 2 of those from the bottom. I didn't. I just went from the bottom to take a look where they were at, and I figured out the bolts that were holding it. So basically, wasting my time using that to go under. That's all you need as a reference. As long as you take all those 10 off, should be good to go. But to spray this like crazy, hopefully it looks really clean. I'll slide it in nicely, and then hopefully that stud is not going to be an issue. Put it back in, call it a day.